Hello, welcome back to Starting Pitcher Review. This is the week starting of 9-6. Unfortunately, that was the Joe Ryan start. I will not be talking about that start because it was terrible, but we will be talking about the next start there on the 7th. Bailey Ober, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. And what was interesting to me about this start, looking at the numbers, almost no fastball. Almost no four-seam fastball, threw it just 28% of the time. That is on the extreme low end of things. Really, you're getting into territory that typically only relievers could live like this. I think this philosophy is changing in recent years. We're seeing a lot of guys cut down on their four-seam fastball. Bailey Ober was maybe not one of those candidates for a while because his four-seamer was a weapon, but yet again, like we see in this start, the velocity's down, averaging under 90 miles an hour. You know, when he was living like 91, 92, it was a bit of a weapon. But when, minimum 87, he's throwing it 88, 89. It's a bit of a different story. It may not seem like much, but that velocity difference is important. So anyways, he said, I'm just going to throw sliders, changeups, and sweepers. And you know what? It worked for him. Again, like I said, 1 earned run over 5 1/3, got 6 strikeouts. Let's take a look at some of the under the hood numbers here. So again, not much four-seam fastball, and it really didn't. Well, it was kind of interesting. He earned only 1 whiff, but stole some strikes with it. I think overall, this was on the upper end of outcomes for him, simply because no pitch really stands out here to me as dominant. Even though he ended up throwing a ton of slider and changeup, he didn't get really like an overwhelming amount of swing and miss from these pitches. Got a lot of foul balls, got some balls in play. They hit him decently hard for it. But I think overall, really Ober's success in this, and let's go to the scatter plot here, was mainly because I think he just fooled the Royals. I don't think they were expecting this amount of off speed, and I don't think they were able to quite make the adjustment, because I looked at like a lot of these off speed pitches catching quite a bit of the strike zone and just not many bad outcomes for him, really. I mean, look at these. These are middle. Okay, that one got hit. I think that was like the only one, though. He got a called strike, in play outs, got a swinging strike, got a foul ball. Really just did not get punished for these pitches. Same is true for the changeups. Got a called strike there. I mean, that is as hittable can get. In a 1-1 count, nonetheless. That's can be pretty dangerous, but Michael Garcia just took it. Got a strikeout there, in play out, swinging strike, foul. I mean, I just don't think that the Royals were expecting this. And I think he was able to get a lot of foul balls, and then he was able to work himself to 2 strike counts, and I think those 2 strike counts largely then fell in his favor. We've talked about foul balls before kind of being both a positive and a negative. In this case, it was a positive for Bailey, and he was able to turn those into strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, that's great, or outs of any other measure. Plus, he was just getting a lot of swing and miss over here. I mean, good Lord, Kyle Isbell, what are you swinging at? These are great locations for him. Changeup, very competitive locations for him. So I think this is an encouraging start. I think this is a good change for him. If this is what his velocity is going to be, hopefully just for the rest of the year, why not just throw a bunch of breaking balls? I mean, the fastball is not going to work, so why throw it, Love to see this from Bailey Ober. Excited to see if he can continue it for his next start. In the next game we're going to talk about, this was actually the next day, Simeon Woods Richardson against the Angels. This wasn't his best start. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. But he did some interesting things here, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. First and foremost, what stuck out to me was slider use against left-handed batters. Now, Simeon, across his MLB career, hasn't had crazy platoon splits, but they've started to occur this year. He's been noticeably worse against lefties. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it's been true. And so in this start, there were only 2 lefties in the lineup, Yoan Moncada and Luis Rengifo. In total, he faced them 5 times. And he just said, I'm going to throw the slider at you. And guess what? They went 0 for 5. Got three ground balls, one strikeout, and one fly ball. So excellent outcomes for him. And the slider just in general, really, I mean, holy crap, this thing was a weapon. 41% called strike whiff percentage. That's awesome. Threw it 19 times, got 10 swings and misses. Well, excuse me, didn't throw it 19 times, got 19 swings, and 10 of them were from misses. Even added 4 called strikes in there. I mean, this thing was eating all day. 13% O contact. That is one of the most elite numbers you're going to see for any off-speed pitches. We're going to take a look at, I think, why it was so effective in a second. But this thing just ate, and it was great to see. This was more like the slider that we saw last year, the retooled slider that really helped Simeon perform for months for the Twins, really helped carry the rotation when they needed him to. Unfortunately, not everything is great here. Really, the slider is the only excellent pitch here. The four-seamer didn't really do a whole lot, got a whole lot of foul balls, so wasn't fooling too many guys. The splitter, not really much of a factor, and the curveball was almost a complete non-factor in this, which is unfortunate because I think he had been doing a good job throwing these curveballs early in counts in the zone to steal early count strikes. I think that's a great use of the curveball, but it just didn't really work out here. And we'll go to the plot now. And so the thing about this that sticks out to me is that you have a whole bunch of four-seam fastball up here, up and in to righties, up and away to lefties, and then almost perfectly mirrored, you have all of these sliders down and away to righties, down and into lefties. And I think that's why it was so powerful, because you got the four-seamer coming at you up there, and then when suddenly it's starting to dart because it's actually a slider, that's tough. This is perfect tunneling. This is what you want to see. And so maybe even though the four-seamer was just getting fouled off, or they were just taking it, especially when it's up here for balls, I don't think he got a single swing and miss on any of these four-seamers. He was still able to come back in and throw these sliders and then get a strike, and then get possibly a swinging strike, possibly even a strikeout. And I think only, like, if you consider this to be a bunch, I think there was only like one hit. Where was it? In play runs, yeah, to Sebastian Rivero. 1-2, hung it maybe just a little bit and got punished for it because, hey, it's the majors and that will happen. But otherwise, some very good outcomes here. Very good locations. Even got a few swinging strikes up here. That was encouraging to see. And I think if he just had like a little bit more on the splitter or a little bit more on the curveball, I think this would have been a much better outing for him. Unfortunately, still gave up 3 earned runs, but some encouraging stuff. Some stuff you like to see. And then finally here, we're going to go with the Pablo Lopez start on Friday. This turned out to be an insane game. I had to recap it, and I don't know how I was able to do it. This thing was just up and then down, up and then down. Ended up going on a walk-off. Cody Clemens hit 3 home runs. And lost in all this maybe was that Pablo not only made the start, but had a pretty good start. It wasn't great for his standards, but I do think he was able to come through in a way that a lot of other pitchers maybe could not have. So let's talk about why. First thing first, the sweeper absolutely dominated. I mean, that's one of his calling cards. You think Pablo Lopez, you think four-seam fastball, sweeper, and changeup. And that's basically what he went to. I mean, the curveball, sinker, kind of there, but they didn't really contribute. As long as you got these 3 pitches and as long as they're doing their thing, I mean, he's going to succeed. We'll talk more about why exactly I think he's so good with the sweeper. But end of day, I mean, 9 called strikes, got 4 whiffs. This thing was what carried him. The four-seamer didn't quite dominate. Again, we see in a lot of these, the four-seamer's a foul ball pitch, but Pablo's usually is able to earn swing and miss. Not really the case here. He got 4 whiffs, 6 called strikes. I think overall it seemed like the Diamondback philosophy was to just wait him out, and his command wasn't quite Pablo Lopez sharp, so I think that's why he ended up what we have here. He walked 3 guys, which over 5 innings is not what you expect from Pablo Lopez. But I think it was a great strategy from Arizona, which then compounded with his just slightly off command into giving him a pretty inefficient 5 innings. I think he ended up, we got 99 pitches. But still 0 earned runs because his defense kind of let him down with Johnny Pareda airmailing a pitch, allowing Perdomo to go to third, and then Luke Keeschel just hucked. He made a great sliding play and then hucked the thing like 10 feet over Cody Clemens' head. So a little bit better defense, and maybe it's a different story. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about here, pretty simple for Pablo Lopez, is just, to me, he's a master at knowing how to use his sweeper. It's one thing to have the pitch as a tool, like as a weapon, but it's just that, right? It's a tool, and you still have to know how to use it well. And I think Pablo absolutely knows how to use it well. And the prime example I want to talk about is these ones that are in the strike zone, and they're always in the strike zone. If he's going to be in the strike zone with his sweeper, it's an early count, because he is super smart about knowing when to use it to steal strikes early. So here we go. 0-0, got a foul. 0-0, got a called strike. 1-0, even got a called strike. Kind of ballsy to throw a 1-0 sweeper, but Pablo has confidence. He'll do it. 0-0, called strike. 0-0, called strike. I think this was 1-0 called strike here. 0-0 called strike. Almost backdoored Jake McCarthy on this one. Got really close. So you're seeing either first pitch or second pitch of the at-bat, he is absolutely okay with throwing that sweeper in the strike zone and saying that you're not going to be sitting on this pitch. I don't think you're going to be sitting on this pitch. And by and large, Arizona was not. These were all strikes that he was able to get. Man, really would have liked that call on Jake McCarthy. But anyways, so that's him in early counts. He's like, I'm going to throw my sweeper, and then maybe I'll mix in some changeup, mix in some four-seam fastball. As we see, he's great at throwing up in the zone here. I mean, he's always good at that. Very competitive changeups. I mean, only like that one and that one are uncompetitive. But then as the count starts to evolve and as we get deeper in the count, suddenly we see the sweeper start to bunch down here. And this is the death zone if you're a hitter. Got a called strike there, out, called strike, out, swinging strike, swinging strike. I mean, just excellent outcomes here because he just commands the pitch so well. And he had his great command of it in this start. And it's a funny thing for Pablo, I think, when he gets into trouble, and we've seen it, 2024 wasn't his best year. He was a little inconsistent in 2023 at times. I think it's when hitters are able to tell themselves that the sweeper may be coming in early counts, and they sit on it, because that's a hard thing to do. That's a very difficult thing to do as a hitter. But when they can do it, Pablo looks more hittable, because he is kind of hittable. At the end of the day, it's a pitch just kind of spinning in there in the strike zone. But again, that's a difficult thing for a hitter to sit on. And if they're not sitting on it, like in this Arizona start, he's going to get you. And that's how he's able to get 6 strikeouts still, even without his best control. And it's just awesome to watch. It's very cool to see him be so cerebral about pitching. And I think Pablo is probably the most cerebral pitcher the Twins have on their roster at the moment. It just always feels like he's a craftsman, and that he knows what his tools are. He knows how to use them well. And he didn't quite have the best control of them in this start, but when he does have the best control over them, it is something to watch. So that was starting pitching review. Had some pretty interesting stuff to talk about. Liked some things that could be improved upon. I feel encouraged, I would say, by Ober and Simeon Woods Richardson. I think they've made some changes that can help them going forward, can help them as then be useful next year in the starting rotation. And then I always love just talking about Pablo Lopez. He's just a master. He's just a master at what he does. He's one of the best pitchers in the American League, and he proved why. So can't wait to come back next year, not next year, next week, and talk about some more pitchers.